SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
You're listening to Sports Talk Mississippi On Demand, presented by Pearl River Resort. Escape to Choctaw, Mississippi and enjoy world-class gaming, the Dancing Rabbit Golf Club, and Geyser Falls Water Park. Escape to Pearl River Resort.
Sports Talk Mississippi is on the air. Sports Talk Mississippi is powered by C-Spire. Power your home or business with C-Spire Fiber. To learn more, visit supertalk.fm/C-Spire. C-Spire Fiber powers SuperTalk Mississippi. To the junction, in the Grove, and to the top. This is Sports Talk Mississippi. On your radio and in the game, right here on Super Talk Mississippi.
Welcome in on a rainy and stormy Wednesday across the state of Mississippi. I'm Michael Borkey. He's Brian Hadad.
Is it rainy and stormy there?
Yeah, thunder and lightning, all that stuff. It's heading your way.
Tonight.
Don't worry.
That's tonight.
Yeah. Thunder and lightning at 6 o'clock. Thunder and lightning in the sky as well. We got a lot to get into today. A lot of conversation about the Governor's Cup. Mississippi State gets a season sweep over Ole Miss, 7-3, the final score from Pearl. I want to. We'll do this in two separate ways. Let's talk about the result on the field first, and all of what it means. Mississippi State, Ole Miss, and the RPI after the game, the season sweep, all that stuff. And then we will transition into the conversation that a lot of people are having today about the future of the game, where it is played and how it is played. So let's separate those two conversations and start with the actual baseball first, give that its due, and then we'll get into the other stuff around the game. So we'll do that. Got a college football fix for you. Kendall Rogers is going to join us in the 4 o'clock hour. So a lot to get to. Really glad you're here.
We are glad you're joining us today in the Pearl River Resort Studios. Pearl River Resort, place to have a great weekend. And I don't care what it is you like to do. You can have a great weekend doing it at Pearl River Resort. Great live entertainment, great meals, great action, great times in the sports book, great championship golf. It's all right there for you. Book your stay now at pearlriverresort.com. C-Spire text line is open to you at 601-879-4395. With C-Spire, it's easier than ever to get all the devices you want in one move with the Ultimate Connect bundle. Right now, new and current customers can get a free phone, watch, and tablet, plus 100 gigs of data for just $90. That includes the new iPhone 17 and Samsung Galaxy S26 for free, and a free smartwatch, and a free tablet to go with it. Just want to point out that's a lot of hardware, and it's free. Don't wait. There's more to see. There's more that's free. Visit cspire.com today or stop by your local C-Spire store today. C-Spire, inspired by you.
All right, let's start with the game itself. Mississippi State beats Ole Miss to complete the season sweep, 4-0, and Brian Hadad is in line to win a bet. We'll see. 7-3, the final score. Mississippi State 12 hits to get those 7 runs. Ole Miss just 5 hits, but did score 3 runs in the game. Mississippi State got the scoring started, jumped all over Owen Kelly. Mississippi State scored 4 runs in the first, added another in the second. Ole Miss bounced back, battled back, scored 3 runs in the 6th, and then Mississippi State in the 6th added 1 and then added another in the 8th. Again, Owen Kelly, not a banner night for him. An inning and 2/3, 6 hits, 5 runs given up. Sweeney for Mississippi State went 3 complete, only gave up a couple of hits.
Was good.
He was good last night. Hitting wise, again, Ole Miss only had 5 hits. Reuter had a pair. Reuter had a pair of RBIs on his 1 hit, which was a welcome sight. He's struggled this year. Randall had a hit. Dom Decker had a pair. Furness had 1 for Mississippi State. 2 from Fry. 2 from Parker. 3 from Maluski last night. And then Reese, Sullivan, Beavis, Chance, and Teal all had hits as well in the game. I'm not surprised. We talked about it yesterday. We both picked this result. Mississippi State just, ownership of Ole Miss. There is a big brother, little brother relationship in baseball. In football, Ole Miss is the big brother. In baseball, right now, Mississippi State just has an ownership. Venues change, coaches change, players change. Well, doesn't matter.
Coaches change on this side. They haven't changed on the other.
But what I was going to say is venues change, players change, coaches change, and it doesn't matter. Mississippi State just owns Ole Miss in baseball, and last night was just another example of that.
Yeah, the saying I like to use when it comes to Ole Miss Mississippi State baseball right now is there is no rivalry between the hammer and the nail, and that's what it's been. Since the start of the Jake Mangum administration at Mississippi State in 2016, State is 30-10 against Ole Miss. That is getting it done. And this is the third time that they've gotten the 4-0 sweep in the last 9 years. 2017, 2019, and again now. Oddly enough, crazily enough, all three of those years, the series was in Oxford.
That is stat of the day, Bob right there.
State has not swept Ole Miss in Starkville. I don't remember the last time. But they've done it 3 times in that time period in Oxford.
Well, what do you make of it? Because, this Mississippi State team, I think, top to bottom, is more talented than this Ole Miss team. But generally speaking, Ole Miss gets great players. Like, they field great, super talented teams, and, the talent is comparable, generally speaking, between the two programs. Like, they're on a similar plane of talent and the ability to obtain talent. But yet one is just so much better than the other when they play each other. It's an anomaly, but it's not an anomaly when it comes to the way two teams of their status should shake out record-wise.
It would be like if every year Michigan and Ohio State were top 10 football teams, and yet somehow one of them was 9-1 against the other.
And that did happen kind of recently.
Michigan has kind of dominated that series, but even then, I think it was 3-4 straight. It's not like this. I don't know the answer. I've asked several former players, and it used to be that what State fans would tell you is that State just had more Mississippi kids, so it meant a little bit more to them. That Ole Miss was recruiting, kids from outside the state of Mississippi a little harder.
A lot of Florida on that roster.
Yeah, but now you look at the State's roster, and how many guys are from the state of Mississippi? Not a ton. Chance, Parker. Trying to think my way around the lineup here. Beavis isn't. Maluski obviously isn't. Teal isn't. Woodson, Wires. None of those guys are from Mississippi. So I don't know what the answer is. It is an anomaly, but at the same time, it's a trend. It's definitely, the thing that gets me, as I mentioned there, is Cohen, Canizero, Henderson, Lamonis, Parker, and now O'Connor. So you've got 6 coaches, 2 of whom were interims, that won their series against Ole Miss. So like I said, it's a weird thing. No, I don't have an explanation for it.
But it is a thing.
But it's absolutely a thing. There is no. And it's kind of, I like to poke at the Ole Miss fans when they talk about LSU as that's our real rival in football. Well, I don't agree with that. That's fine. But for baseball, I do agree that the State's real rival is LSU because State has just dominated Ole Miss to the point where what rivalry that you can be. You're not being insulting when you say that. When a team has won 30 out of 40 games against you, there's not much of a rivalry there.
It's just reality. There's no other way around it. I'm sure will be Ole Miss fans that are upset by this conversation, but you can't argue with what happens on the field. And, there's a side conversation to be had of how much should it actually matter? How much should you measure a coach on 4 games in a 56-game season? That's a fair conversation to be had. But when it comes to this series, and it does matter to people here. If you gave Ole Miss fans the choice in football this year, beat LSU or beat State, you can only beat one. Which one are you picking? They're all picking LSU.
Absolutely.
But generally speaking,
I think in a normal year, you'd have some dissension in the ranks.
Yes.
This year, I understand.
It's a unique year.
I get it.
But it still does matter, even if because of the sport of baseball being what it is, and because losing a series to State doesn't really mess with you postseason wise, because RPI and all that stuff you're generally good there, and you're good outside of that series most years, it does matter. And it is a big black eye on an otherwise very successful program in tenure. Mike Bianco can't beat Mississippi State.
Yeah, and that's what it is. I mean, he just hasn't had much success against Mississippi State. He had a good run there, like towards the end of Polk's second tenure, early Cohen, when Cohen was putting the program back together. But since, State finished last in the conference in 2015. Since then, and there were some bad State teams in there. Don't forget 2022, 2023, those teams were terrible. But State found a way to at least beat Ole Miss every year. So
yeah, and
I'll tell you what, you talk about, in your head, Judd Udemark. I don't think he ever wants to see maroon and white again in his life.
No.
Now 4 times he left the bases loaded. Twice in the series in Oxford, and then twice last night, leaving the bases loaded. I just couldn't. When Ole Miss loaded the bases 2 times and didn't really get anything out of it, I was just like, you got to be kidding me. Like what? Because you remember that game, that Sunday game where Ole Miss did it 5 times and didn't score, and they did it again last night. And Ole Miss, which was playing so well for 3 weeks there, they look like the Ole Miss that we saw a few weeks back when the State played them in Oxford. They have gone back to old bad habits.
We'll continue on about the game. Again, save your comments about the venue and stuff. We'll get to that, I promise, but we'll keep talking about the game and the result when we come back.
I can't believe what I'm hearing.
This is Sports Talk Mississippi, right here on Super Talk Mississippi.
Welcome back, Sports Talk Mississippi, talking Governor's Cup last night. And, you said it yesterday, the result very likely was going to flip RPI if Mississippi State did, in fact, win. And sure enough, it did. The teams essentially swapped places. Ole Miss was barely in front of Mississippi State. Now the reverse has happened. Mississippi State now up to number 12 in the RPI. That is up from, 19?
Mm-hmm. A couple weeks ago.
Yeah, just a couple of weeks ago. Ole Miss down to 14. Still in good shape when it comes to hosting, but that conversation now changes a little bit. So let's go there. Game happens. Mississippi State wins. Mm-hmm. Now, what does the result mean when it comes to the hosting conversation? We'll start with Mississippi State, the winner.
So I'm looking at it from this perspective. So State is currently 12th in the RPI, right? But when you look at the teams that are in front of them, Alabama is not going to not be a top 8 seed. They're probably not even going to host.
There's a chance they don't with the losing record in the league.
Right. So they're 6th in the RPI. So sort of take them out of the picture, right? Southern Miss is going to host, but I don't think Southern Miss is going to be a top 8 seed, right? They're 9th in the RPI. Even if they were to finish if they were 7th or 8th, I still don't think they'll be a top 8 seed. They're probably going to be, somewhere between 10 and 16, right? USC, kind of the same thing. We saw the RPI the other day, or saw a projection the other day that USC coming to Ole Miss. USC is not likely to host to be a top 8 seed. They may not even host, right? So you've got 3 teams that are kind of out of the mix. So State is in a really good spot right now if they just handle their business. And what that means is this: we've said all season long, right? Win your home series, don't get swept on the road. They have 9 games remaining. If they go 4-9 in that, they'd finish 17-13. The RPI and the committee, we know that they count this game the same as they count any other SEC game. It's a neutral site win over a top 15 RPI team. It's a good win for State. That's an 18th conference win in all likelihood. State, I think, would be in position to maybe be number 8, which is good enough, right? Being number 8 means you're hosting the Super Regional if you get through. If State can find a way to win an extra game in there and finish 18-12 in SEC play, plus the Governor's Trophy win, with 19 SEC wins, they're almost certainly a lock to be on the right. When I say the right side of the bracket, I mean the left side of the bracket, because they would be a top 8 seed in all likelihood.
Yeah. On the flip side for Ole Miss, and now I guess Memphis fell because they now have a quad 3 loss, does Ole Miss. Yes. So Memphis must have fallen out of that.
They did. I have been checking that because it's so interesting. Mm-hmm. With Memphis cannot put together a winning streak to get up. They cannot lose enough games to just stay down. They're 122 today.
How about that?
Yeah.
But Ole Miss still number 14 in the RPI with the number 4 strength of schedule. They have 10 quad 1 wins. Those are all good numbers. They probably, if the season ended today, which it does not, would probably still be hosting, despite the result last night. A neutral site loss to the number 12 RPI is not going to, it doesn't hurt you.
Right.
What I do think, though, this creates is a situation where I think they got to get to 16. I really do, and the path to get there is difficult. Now, Arkansas, a winnable series. Alabama, a winnable series. A&M, a winnable series, especially in your ballpark. I have a fear of regression with this team. It's
these
just
last
1
2
week.
games, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. The last 3 games they've played, I'm afraid that there's a regression, and maybe they'll prove that wrong this weekend. But even an Arkansas team that's not as good as you expected them to be, going to Fayetteville and taking 2 is not an easy thing to do.
Will not be, especially with the way Arkansas pitches. We were really close last night, by the way, to having another midweek madness. We got a couple of upsets, but Gonzaga, Oregon won by a run. Georgia Tech, Kennesaw State, Georgia Tech, close game. Texas A&M, Tarleton, close game. Of course, Coastal Carolina, number 9 in the country, they did beat North Carolina. Beat them 12-2. Big game there. Nebraska won by a run. Southern Miss losing their game to Tulane. That's not a good loss. That's not a good situation for Southern Miss to lose that game. They needed to win that, but they lose. Texas had to walk off Sam Houston in the bottom of the 9th in Austin last night to get that win. Southern Cal lost last night, number 21 team in the nation, to UC Irvine. And as we speak right now, they're doing a makeup game from last night, Northwestern State and Arkansas, middle of the first. Just getting started, but the Demons are up 2-0.
How about that?
Yeah.
So, I think it's never this black and white, but I think what last night's loss does for Ole Miss is you got to go to Arkansas, get 2. I think you got to go up there and get 2 this weekend. It is the most... Calling them the worst team on your schedule is kind of goofy because they're still good. But it is the worst team that you're going to play on the weekend remaining. And if you want to host, I think you got to go up there and get 2. 15 and especially 14 is not going to be enough now. It won't be. Losing records in conference don't really host anyway, and all of the argument for that's kind of been taken away from you. So that's what last night created, is a bit more quote-unquote desperation to stack wins in order to put yourself on the right side of hosting. Mm-hmm. And as we talk about...
You've got 3 series left. If you win 1 and just don't get swept, you're probably going to host.
But that puts you very bubbly.
It's very bubbly. Winning 2 series, you would almost certainly host.
Yeah, especially because in the RPI behind you is Coastal Carolina.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're going to host.
And they're going to host. Florida State has a chance to. Now, they had a bad weekend.
Yeah, they did.
Georgia's behind you in the RPI right now as
they're going
well.
to host. That's the thing is, like, when you look at RPI, it's not just go down the list, right? There are some teams that RPI is not great, but Georgia's leading the SEC. Right now, they would win the SEC. They're going to host. There's just no question about that. And Coastal Carolina is going to host. No question about that.
You do have a series win at Florida, but you have the same conference record. They have the number 1 strength of schedule and a better record against quad 1 teams. Now, they have 3 quad 4 losses, and you have none. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, that could be, again, these are humans in the room, and they have done weird stuff with their selections before. Call me crazy, call me cynical or a conspiracy theorist, tinfoil hat guy, but if the committee's down to Ole Miss and Florida hosting, and 2 schools from Mississippi have already gotten a host site, you think they're giving a third? I don't, if they can give it to Florida. I don't.
I don't think Florida, they'll find somebody other than Florida. I don't think Florida's going to host. It'll be somebody like...
Well, depending on how they finish the season.
Depending on how they finish, yeah. If they finish really strong, sure, but I don't think see Florida as a host. I just don't.
But it's the same conference record.
All those bad losses are going to hurt them.
Same conference record, number one strength of schedule.
Yeah.
Let's see what Florida's got left. They have.
I know they have LSU, so they should have
Oklahoma, Kentucky, and LSU.
That's about as good as you could hope for. Oklahoma's been pretty good this year. Kentucky, not so much. LSU is putrid. That's the last series of the year. LSU might be totally in the bag at that point. Who knows what Jay Johnson's going to say between now and then?
I mean, no kidding. And then that'll be in Baton Rouge. I mean, LSU has a good baseball fan base. There's no doubt about it. It will be it won't be
like,
pretty.
We are ready for the season to end.
Man. Somebody says, just a question as I drive, how many hosts won their regional last year since it gets so much attention? I'll have to go
Off the top of my head, I know Vanderbilt didn't. I know that Ole Miss
did not.
Other than that, I don't know.
I'll look that up for you. But it gets so much attention because
it is easier.
It's just simply easy.
Especially if you're on the 1 through 8s, right? If you're talking about you get to host all the way to Omaha, you're hosting regional and super regional. I mean, that just makes it easier for you.
Louisville won the Nashville regional. This was a crazy year for hosts. Louisville won the Nashville regional. Miami won the Hattiesburg regional.
That's right.
UTSA won the Austin regional. Mm-hmm. UCLA won their own regional. Murray State won in Oxford. Duke won in Athens. Mm-hmm. LSU won theirs. Tennessee won theirs. Arkansas won theirs. Auburn won theirs. Coastal won theirs. North Carolina won theirs. Oregon State won theirs. Florida State won theirs. Arizona won in Eugene.
Okay.
So, yeah. Hosting provides an advantage. Yeah. Even in a year that got weird. Again,
that's a weird year, but yeah.
With Murray State winning and...
Somebody asked, do we think the committee weighs conference tournaments a lot unless you win or make the finals? I don't think they weigh a lot at all. Remember a couple years ago where State had 17 conference wins. They went to the conference tournament and won, 3 games and still didn't host? No, I don't think they weigh it very much at all, to be honest with you.
They're building the bracket the week of the SEC tournament already.
Yeah, 100%. So we'll change gears on this now. We've talked about the game. We've talked about the baseball. We got to talk about the venue. We got to talk about the broadcast. We have a mea culpa when we come back.
I have to.
We have to do that because this game, and even Brian O'Connor himself had some comments about the Governor's Cup and whether or not it really truly makes sense in this day and age. So we'll do that when we come back. Sports Talk Mississippi, just getting warmed up here on a Wednesday.
From theSeabrook.com.
Hey guys, what's happening? What the heck are you doing?
Sports Talk Mississippi on your radio and in the game. Sports Talk Mississippi.
Welcome back in Sports Talk Mississippi. So yesterday, how long ago it was, I said that as long as we get video of the game, we can't complain because we get to watch the game. I did not, when I said that, realize that for a extended period of time, a too long period of time, we would get whatever that video was. Color, out of balance, only half of the screen. You couldn't see right-handed hitters.
Us the old-timers will be like, I was trying to watch Cinemax back in the day.
I mean, the color pink really popped. If you were, there was a lady in green sitting. If you're looking from home plate out to the field, down the first base line, and her green was popping on that screen for a little while. They ended up getting it figured out, some kind of transmission signal issue, and the guys that called the game, they did a good job.
They were fine.
The qualm is not about them. Calling baseball is tough. A 4-hour call, people are hyper-focusing on they said this one thing. They're the worst announcers ever, and give me a break. It's fine
right.
That they said something that didn't satisfy Twitter's needs. But they called the game fine. We did ultimately get a video feed that was good enough. But yeah, the second I put it on, I thought, I am the dumbest person alive that I told people we can't
Did
complain
I text you? I was
this.
like,
yeah, you did.
May have spoken too soon.
Way too soon. My goodness, that was tough.
Yeah, this is part of the problem. All right, I'm sure we're going to talk about the playing surface and all that in just a moment. But if you're a Mississippi State fan, if you're an Ole Miss fan, you have gotten accustomed to a certain standard of broadcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your schools, every game, it's a quality standard. The cameras are the cameras for the games that your Tuesday games against Grambling and South Alabama and whoever else you're playing in the midweek. Those cameras are just as good as if ESPN was doing the game on a weekend against LSU or Alabama or whoever, right? There's a certain standard here. And, for those of us who don't go to the game, you're not serving those fan bases by this. And that's just something that it feels like they've got to address because, there's just no point in broadcasting the game if it's not going to be at the level that Mississippi State and Ole Miss fans expect it to be at.
Yeah. I mean, we need to have the conversation about the future of the game itself.
Right.
I think
so. This is 2 years out of 3. I'm not sure that there's been a major league problem with the playing surface. And last night it nearly led to a really bad injury.
Yeah, so as we talked about yesterday, they turfed the infield. Mm-hmm. And as part of the turfing of the infield, I guess the area around the bases is not sealed, attached to the rest of the turf. They, on purpose, have it to where they can easily replace it, I guess was the line that was said. But Will Furness is lucky. He's very lucky that his season didn't end last night because if you got to watch the video closely. I mean, now that he's okay, at least we think he's okay, it looked like it was just a clumsy slide and he fell on his face and he's a bigger guy and people got their laughs online. When you watch it again, his arm got stuck under the turf. So he's going to slide and his right hand goes under the seam in the turf, and that's what caused him to land on his face and roll over. He is so incredibly lucky that did not end his season right there. He really is. And, if you want to blame, because, people online do their dumb online things. Oh, it's just a clumsy slide. Well, then explain Dom Decker in the first. Because the same thing happened to him, and he is a more agile slider than that of Furness. And he had the same thing happen where he goes to slide and he didn't slide.
Right.
So the playing surface for this level of baseball, that is it's egregious. And you see Mike Bianco walking up to the hole and picking up a flap of turf and looking at the umpire like, hey, man, what the hell? My guy could have dislocated his elbow here on this. And that's just simply, it's unacceptable is what that is. There is no reason for, like you said, and it was a grass field at the time, but this happened before where a player is really lucky that his season did not end with injury when the sod at that time slipped out from under him, could have blown out his knee. Very lucky. But if that's going to be the playing surface that is provided for these teams,
can't allow it.
You cannot continue on that field. Can't do it.
So O'Connor, this is his first ever, go through with this game. Basically, openly questioned. I don't have the direct quote in front of me, but question why this game is being played. And I can't help but wonder, now that O'Connor is here. If he's questioning it, he's going to take those questions to Selman. What's the future of this game? Because if you can't guarantee the safety of the players because your playing surface is not good enough, you can't guarantee that the quality of your broadcast so that the fans at home who, again, are accustomed to a certain level of broadcast aren't being served. And, you and I both know that in the past there have been years where the line for concessions at these things.
It was like that last night again.
Was it? Okay. I mean, you're talking about you're going to miss a full inning, maybe more, trying to get a popcorn and a beer. It's just not cut out to hold this anymore. And I don't know if that means you canceled this series. You just let them play the conference series and that's it. Or do you find a way to continue this, maybe playing on campus? You and I talked about it yesterday about how possibly you play the game at the school that didn't host the SEC series. Do you possibly take it down to the coast because the Shucker Stadium is just a better facility? I don't know the answer to that, but they have to figure something out.
Yeah, and the people that now operate and own the stadium were dealt, in fairness to them, were dealt with a deck that was stacked against them. The Braves were negligent in the last few years of that. They just let that place go. And they let it go. Yeah. And they don't have the $20 million that the stadium needs to modernize it.
Right.
But they're trying. I mean, there's improvements that they're trying really hard. But there's still so much that needs to be done. And I'm sorry, I'm going to be flippant here. I know that they reported a sellout, and it was the third largest Governor's Cup crowd in history. Is the largest crowd in the room with us right now? I mean, guys, we all saw the game in the sheer volume of empty seats. That was not a true capacity sold-out crowd, and logistically it was still a problem.
Yeah. And Josh and Clinton says Neil Price was complaining about the broadcast booth. Having been in that press box, it's not designed to hold the amount of media that Mississippi State and Ole Miss are going to bring to that game.
Yeah.
Especially if both teams were really good this year, but if this game was ever like a top 5 game, well, State and Ole Miss are going to bring between them 10, 12 riders.
Yeah.
That I have had to sit in an auxiliary room just to cover the game because there's no space. There's just nowhere to sit.
Yeah.
This stadium is not built to hold. You think about when State and Ole Miss play each other in baseball, right? You have crowds of 12,000 in Oxford. You'll have crowds of 14, 15,000 in Starkville. This stadium's not built for that.
No, and they claimed over 8,000 last night. Again, okay. I would love to see that's government accounting, right? Yeah. Right there is what that is. I have been to Governor's Cups games in that stadium where there were thousands more people. And imagine if that crowd would have showed up. And the issue that they're running into now is there were fewer people there. Again, I sent Hadad screenshots of the empty seats just because I wanted to document that, hey, we all saw it. And those of you that were there, I talked to some people that were there last night, said the same thing. Kind of just rolled their eyes at the whole sold out, third biggest crowd ever for the Governor's Cup. No. It's not for lack of interest. Yeah. People in the Jackson area really care about these two baseball teams. A lot. And they're both good, right? Mm-hmm. It'd be different if one was stinky. No. Those are two good baseball teams and a lot of interest. And yet, people aren't showing up the way that they used to. And so when you have field issues that could have cost Will Furness his season, frankly should have. He got really lucky last night.
Very lucky. Like I said, you watching it in real time, you're just like, did he just beef it? What happened there? But no, I mean, the turf got him, and like you said, that could have ended his season and a lot more.
So when you've got that, you've got the inability to put on a comparable broadcast. You've got ticket prices that are just too high, turning people away. The people that do go spend way too long trying to get basic things that they need, that fans want to experience a game. You have to ask the question, what are they getting out of it? What are Ole Miss and Mississippi State getting out of this game anymore? We'll read some of your texts. We'll keep talking about this when we come back. Sports Talk Mississippi. Don't go anywhere.
From the Venable.
Okay.
Let's go. To the junction, in the Grove, and to the top.
Don't hurt yourself.
Sports Talk Mississippi.
On SuperTalk Mississippi.
Welcome back, Sports Talk Mississippi. Michael Borkey, Brian Hadad with you. I hate this conversation, and I'm weary of having it because sports in this area, right? We have a lot of sports fans in the Jackson area. I know this is a statewide program, but it is our state capital, and there's a lot of fans here. And we've already lost a sporting event, right? The Sanderson Farms Championship, no longer. The PGA Tour. And unfortunately, it's apples to oranges because the Sanderson Farms Championship was well run. It was well organized. The venue was great. The players liked it. They did a great job. And it's just keeping up, trying to find an in-state company that's willing to put up $10 million a year to sponsor it was something that they couldn't do. But it was ran well and all that stuff. They did a great job. I've been to a ton of pro golf tournaments in my life. In terms of the way it was run, Sanderson Farms is at the top. It was awesome. That's not really the conversation here. But I don't want to see the Jackson area lose another sports thing. Mm-hmm. So that sucks. But.
Well, like you said, it is apples and oranges. Mm-hmm. And so this has got to be a situation where you have to tell, the stadium, the organization, whatever, fix it. And if you're telling us you can't fix it, then we have to make a decision. But we have to have a playing surface that our players are safe on. We have to have facilities that the fans who come to the game can rely on and have a great experience. And we have to have a broadcast situation where our fans who don't make the game can watch the game at the same standard that they're used to when they watch games in our stadiums. And if you can't do those three things, then we can't continue to do business with you.
No.
And that's the nature of everything in this life. That, if you're a customer, you have certain demands you make of the teams, the services that you use. And if you can't use them, you move on to the next thing.
Somebody asked plainly, will you all be surprised if the game isn't played next year? I will not be surprised at all if there is an alteration to how this game gets played. Maybe they continue to have – the idea has been floated a lot where this year the series was in Oxford, so you play the one game in Starkville and then flip that every year. Mm-hmm. But, Brian O'Connor last night, that's really telling, by the way, when the winning coach is like, I don't know what we're doing here. That tells you a lot, right? Yeah. It'd be different, people would call sour grapes if Bianco was like, we can't do this anymore, we're done, because they just got beat. He didn't do that.
This is the winning coach saying it.
It's the winning coach saying that. I think that this will be altered, yeah. I have a feeling that enough is enough, especially when you have a player's arm go through the turf as he's trying to slide into second base.
Yeah. And again, this is not the first time.
Not the first time.
We had a situation just 2 years ago, and I thought they had made enough changes to fix it, but apparently not. And so you just can't risk that. You can't risk. These are two teams that are going to play postseason baseball. They cannot risk losing a player for the season because your stadium can't take care of the players.
Yeah,
that's not great. It's like I said, it's not the best situation, obviously, but it is what it is.
Somebody says, imagine if that would have been Ace Reese sliding and tearing his knee up to where he's out for the year. You almost got that. Almost got that last night. So yeah, there's a lot of ideas. I probably get to those when we come back, actually, just, what to do next with this. How do you fix this? Because, again, as I've said before...
I just don't know what the solution is other than moving the game out of Jackson. There isn't a stadium that's going to be able...
No,
some people are saying, go back to Smith Wills. I don't think that's the right idea.
No, it's not.
So
that can't hold this either.
Yeah. You really kind of need the attendance support and the crowd, the facility support that you only really have in Starkville and Oxford for this.
And especially, I mean, I know concessions are lower on the list of complaints, but man, I've been to a lot of games in stadiums over the last couple of years, and the modernization of concessions is amazing. How quickly you can get stuff. Well, I mean, I was at the Sugar Bowl, and yeah, like the media area, like I was in the press box, but they didn't have anything set up for the media at all until like in the third quarter. It was weird. Mm-hmm. So I went down to the concession stands a couple of times during the game to get a water and stuff like that. I mean, I walked right up to the counter, sold out game, right up to the counter, waited for nobody, got it, back in my seat within 2 minutes. And I mean, we're talking about a sold out 74,000 people game. Went to the USA Soccer game in Nashville. I mean, I didn't even stop moving. You never stop. You walk through the thing, you grab what you want, and you walk out, and it's done. And so when you've got people that have that ease of access, they're going to look at $30 seats to go sit on the grass in the outfield, and then you got to wait in line for 2 innings to get something and just say no thank you. We'll offer maybe some solutions after the news. Sports Talk Mississippi, Hour 1 in the book. Stick with us.
Sports. This is Sports Talk Mississippi.
Sounds good.
On Super Talk Mississippi.
Sports Talk Mississippi, back with you here on a Wednesday afternoon. I'm Brian Hadad. He is Michael Borkey. As Michael Borkey said just a few minutes ago, it's raining. That means the grass, it's growing. That means you need to make a trip to Ag Up and see our friends there. And right now, their Drive Green sales event is going on now through May 23rd. Here's what we're going to do for you right now at Ag Up. And this was, this was Michael Borkey's idea. He's like, They said, how can we get people in the door? He's like, what do you think of this idea? All right. Anyone who comes in, gets a quote on a John Deere compact tractor, we'll enter them immediately to win a John Deere generator and pressure washer. Now, you don't have to buy the tractor. You just got to get a quote. And you're entered to win a new pressure washer and a new generator from John Deere. But you're going to want to buy that tractor anyway, because they're going to give you a great deal from our friends at Ag Up. Don't forget to do that. 15 locations, agup.com, your down-home dealer. And you can join Michael Borkey and I on Tuesday, May 12th at Ag Up in Hattiesburg.
We'll be there.
From 3 to 6 as we broadcast live from 7,000 U.S. Highway 49. You can get a quote on that John Deere compact tractor. Come in, get a quote, and you'll be entered to win a new John Deere generator and pressure washer. We hope to see you there at Ag Up on May 12th.
Do you think that what Brian O'Connor said last night is the thing that's going to happen, where they just play the 3-game set and that's what they do?
I'll be honest with you. There was somebody on the C Spire text line that said, just give the Governor's Cup to whoever wins the series.
It's not a bad idea.
That's not a bad idea at all, to be honest with you. If O'Connor's talking about it, well, here's how I'm looking to look at things. Maybe I'm wrong, but Mississippi State is paying Brian O'Connor nearly $3 million a year. All right, they've given him every resource that he's asked for. If he asks for this, if he says, I don't want to play this next year, or like, I don't want to play it in Pearl, it's not going to happen. So it really does feel like that. And, you know, this could very well be the last one ever.
And I have a feeling if he called Mike Bianco today and said, hey, Coach,
like, you can't continue to want your players to play in this, can you?
And Bianco's going to look at what happened to Will Furness, who, I mean, might be his best hitter. Most complete hitter, for sure. Veteran first baseman. I mean, this is Furness's last year. And he's going to look at what happened and say, Brian, I agree.
Yeah.
We're not doing that anymore. I haven't talked to anybody that has told me on record that Ole Miss's position is we're done. Mm-hmm. But hearing O'Connor talk about it publicly, and I would be shocked beyond measure if those conversations weren't had in Oxford last night as well.
I think they have to be, especially since it was an Ole Miss player that was nearly injured.
Yeah. I mean, there's options. There's the thing we talked about before, play the game opposite where the series was. I like that idea. I do. I think that'd be fun. A Tuesday night game with those kind of stakes on it would be fun. But also, I mean, we say it all the time. The committee looks at that game like a conference game. Mm-hmm. Ole Miss and State didn't pitch weekend guys last night.
Right.
And if it was a real conference game, you would. Like you treat midweek games differently because they are midweek games. Maybe it's just best if it doesn't get played at all. Or you do. But again, the same context applies. I like this idea. Go to Biloxi, have your round robin there, loop one more team in if you can. And obviously Southern Miss gets looped into that as well because Ole Miss and Southern Miss played a game there earlier this season. Crowd not good. So there's another what's the point element. But also you're not going to play a conference opponent in a non-conference game if you can't help it.
Yeah. And we talked about like bringing back the old Winn-Dixie showdown and having a round robin with State, Southern, Ole Miss, and 3 other teams. But could you do it where, and honestly, you could tie in maybe Jackson State. Maybe you could tie in, LSU or Tulane, maybe South Alabama, just to do 4. You just wanted to do 4, and that way you get to play, you play the other, all those schools. I don't know how exactly you want to do it. State used to do that sometimes where they would bring in a couple of teams for the weekend and play like a round robin weekend. Everybody would play each other. There's ways to do this, but as far as just the one-off in Pearl, with all I feel bad because it feels like everything just happened at once, right? You had the bad broadcast, you had the field issues, the concession stuff has been going on for a long time. That's not a new one there.
Well, if there's a halfway decent crowd at the Mud Monsters games, concessions are an issue, and they don't draw like it drew last night.
Yeah, somebody's asking, is there a junior college? I mean, those fields are going to be smaller.
A lot smaller.
Yeah, they can't handle the crowds like this. There's not a junior college field in the state of Mississippi, I don't think, that could hold a crowd of 6,000 or 7,000.
No.
So no,
and we love our JUCOs, especially Northwest. I've been using that blanket, my friends in Northwest. I love that thing. My son loves that thing too.
Yeah.
We love them, but their baseball facility, beautiful, cannot hold 7,000 people.
Someone says tie in Delta State. Not the worst idea. That's a good program. I don't know the answer.
Wait, now how do you do that though? They're Division II.
I mean, if the game won't count for your RPI.
Is that how that works? True,
yeah.
Out of ignorance.
I'm pretty sure that if you play a Division II school, it just doesn't count for your RPI.
This is going to sound flippant, but you tell Mike Bianco, Brian O'Connor, hey, you're going to play this game, and it doesn't do anything for you literally at all.
I get what you're saying.
I'm not running any of my players on the field. None of them.
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, that's I don't know.
Hey, walk-ons, red shirts, you guys are getting the start tonight because I'm,
Yeah, risk it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the answer. Again, I just don't know.
And Biloxi's tough for a one-off. I've seen a lot of people say, well, just play the Governor's Cup, on the coast. I would love to see – State already goes to the coast. I would love to see Ole Miss go to the coast too. A lot of people down there, a lot of fans down there, and it's very far from the towns. But imagine the travel situation for Ole Miss this
a midweek
weekend.
Game where you got to drive and back and forth to Biloxi. The only way you could do it is the way that the State does it right now, where they do it around spring break. But
spring break and you come back home.
But we know that when Ole Miss, that's usually the first week of conference play. We know that Bianco, when Ole Miss is on the road, likes to take a road game near his opponent. Like this year, weren't they at Arkansas State or something? I don't know. They went on the road a couple years ago. Maybe it was to Arkansas State when they played Arkansas, or they'll go play Southeast Louisiana or somebody. And when they're playing LSU,
they were in Hattiesburg before they went to Austin this year.
Yeah, see, they that's what they like to do. So, which is a weird one, right? You think they'd go play like Texas State or something, but regardless, I just there's not a lot of solutions. The easiest solution is to bring Trustmark Park up to the standard that SEC teams can play on it, that's going to require millions of dollars that nobody has. The second solution is just to cancel the game. I'm not sure that's what everybody wants. The third solution is to find a different place to play the game, which sucks for Pearl in that area, but the problem is this is Mississippi. This isn't, Texas, where there would be a lot of options to do that.
Yeah.
This is, if you're not going to play it at Pearl and you're not going to play it on campus, you only have two other options. Hattiesburg, which I don't think Southern Miss would be like, yes, play State versus Ole Miss at Pete Taylor Park. We want that to happen. I don't think they're going to say that. Or Biloxi, which has its own issues. So there's just not a lot of good options here.
Not a lot of good options. I mean, the best option would be, I'm sorry, again, forgive me for being flippant. The best option would be the venue to be better. That would be the best option.
Right, but again, that's going to require a financial commitment that nobody is willing to make.
That they just don't have. And again, they're doing good things. They're trying. There are good people there working really hard to make that venue more viable. It's not viable right now for this. It's viable for Frontier League baseball. It's not viable for two ranked SEC teams.
No. So somebody says the biggest field for JUCOs in the state is at Jones, and it holds 750. So yeah, that's not going to work. That can't happen.
Somebody says, I'm guessing that an arrangement with the Memphis Redbirds would not be appropriate. They have similar facility issues there.
Yeah.
It's been a few years since I've been. It was not good when I was there, and apparently
you're not going to play this game in the state of Tennessee.
No.
It's just not going to happen.
No.
And Marty from Portland, that's Pearl's problem, fix your stadium. But who's going to do that? Like the city of Pearl's not going to invest $20 million into a stadium that doesn't have any major league affiliation, right?
No major league affiliation, and you only need it to be like that for one game a year.
Right. Yeah, like the Mud Monsters games.
They don't draw.
So the fans aren't a problem. The broadcast isn't a problem. It's just this one game.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was easier to do when the Braves were there because the Braves kept up the facility. Now that they're gone, that doesn't happen.
We'll be right back. Sports Talk Mississippi. Kendall Rogers joins us next.
Sports Talk Mississippi is brought to you by Covington County Hospital in Collins, where your health matters.
Take the friggin' wax out of your ears. Did you hear me?
This is Sports Talk Mississippi.
Woo! What do you say, sports fans?
Now, here's more on Super Talk Mississippi.
Welcome back, Sports Talk Mississippi. We go to the Farm Bureau guest line. Check out favorites.com and go with the home team, Mississippi Farm Bureau. We've been talking baseball for the first hour and 20 minutes of the show, so let's keep going. Kendall Rogers, D1 Baseball, joins us right now. And Kendall, same question for both teams. We went through your regional projections yesterday. Yep. What did last night's result do for Ole Miss and for Mississippi State when it comes to regional hosting, standing, projections, et cetera?
Yeah, that's an awesome question because I think, it's one thing to have kind of a weekend where, everything kind of goes right for you, sweep a team, but to actually come back and go 4-0 against a team, I think it's actually pretty significant. I think this is one of the situations to where, when we put out the projections, Ole Miss probably had the better resume. Now, if you're the committee, and let's just say the two teams are side by side, like head-to-head has to matter. And it mattered in the case of we were kind of picking between Florida and Florida State. We still felt pretty good about Florida because Florida's 3-0 against Florida State. So I just think it's one of those situations now to where, Mississippi State's kind of put another feather in its cap to where these two teams are remotely comparable in Selection Monday. Like, that has to matter.
When you look at State, if they finish with, let's just say that they do what statistically makes sense, right? They win the home series with Auburn. They don't get swept on the road at A&M and Texas. They finish with 17 conference wins. Obviously, that's a host for them. Is that close enough to get them to be maybe the 7 or 8 seed so they could be in line to host a super regional?
They would probably need a little help, but I mean, if you won 17 conference games and that's who you finished with, you're probably going to have really good metrics. So, I mean, it's not like it's not like an easy answer because, for all we know, Florida wins out or Florida State wins out. So, I mean, there's some variables there, but there's no doubt. I mean, if they finish with 17 wins or 13 now in conference, I mean, they'd be in a position to where they're probably in that 9 to 10 range, if not 8. So, I mean, they would be right there. Just it kind of depends on the teams I'd kind of watch for, guys, down the stretch. I feel pretty good about UCLA. I feel pretty good about Georgia Tech. I feel pretty good about Texas. I feel pretty good about A&M. I feel pretty good about Auburn. That's 5. North Carolina's in good shape at 6. So I feel like at this point, there are 2 spots at play, or in Georgia. I would throw Georgia in there just because they're probably going to win the SEC. So there's one spot kind of at play, and some teams in the mix would be Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Kansas, Oregon State. Like, those are the teams I really keep an eye on. Coastal Carolina, they've kind of dipped down to 16. But, again, they've got a really good, robust resume. So those would be the teams I would keep an eye on. But, yeah, Ole Miss and Mississippi State, both, I feel like, if they finish strong, would absolutely have a shot at the top 8, if not a pretty good shot.
Southern Miss also a good resume out of conference. They've bounced back after a rough week a couple weeks ago, but they did suffer a loss to Tulane last night, and now they've got some weekends coming up against teams with, we'll call it, less than desirable RPIs. Well, what did last night change for Southern Miss, and what do you see happening with them over the next 3 weeks?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, they're still sitting in a pretty good spot at 9 in the RPI, but here's the dilemma I kind of run into with this team is if you look at kind of the conference standings right now in that league, they're 4 games behind Coastal Carolina. We can talk all day long about how they have 19 wins against Q1 and Q2, but how in the world would you put Coastal not in let's say not in a top 8, but you would have someone like Southern Miss in a top 8? Or let's just, for kind of situations here, or hypotheticals, let's say Coastal Carolina dips down to 21, and let's say Southern Miss is 15. Well, you're going to put the team that finished 3 or 4 games behind the other team in that same conference, in as a host, to leave the other one out. So the problem I think for Southern Miss is they really need Coastal to finish strong, because I think if Coastal doesn't host, Southern Miss doesn't host.
Looking around, just looking at the RPI, there's a number of teams in here that, never mind, being a top 8, probably aren't going to host at all. Like Alabama is the one that really stands out to me. They're currently 6th in the RPI.
Down.
Yeah, but they're not going to host. USC is probably not going to host. They're at 10.
Yeah.
Who's the team right now that's maybe outside of the top 16? Georgia's the easy choice here, but somebody to keep an eye on that could, in the coming weeks, really make a statement and put some stuff on their resume to put themselves as a host.
Yeah, that's a great question. And I will say something about Georgia real quick. We had a lot of questions this week about, well, how is Georgia the top 8? They're number 19 RPI. Remember, in 2022, Texas A&M, I think finished second in the SEC. They had a 22 RPI, and they were a number 5 national seed. So where you finish in the SEC matters. Remember that with the RPI. But in terms of teams outside that mix, I would keep an eye on 3. I think West Virginia is really interesting. I know they've kind of struggled here as of late, but they're 16-7 on the road. They're 27 in the RPI. They finished with high RPI teams. They can make a move. Oregon is one of those teams that it really passes the eyeball test. They're a really good team. It just hasn't had a lot of opportunities, but they finished, with some strong opponents, including USC and UCLA. So they've got a chance to make a statement there. And then Boston College out of the ACC, I don't know what to do with them. I mean, they've got 16 league wins, but they're 24 in the RPI. I just think if let's just say Boston College won 19 ACC games and they had an RPI of 20. Like, if you're the committee, are you really going to leave a team out that's an ACC team with an RPI of 20 or 21 that has that many wins as a northern school? I don't think you do. So I would keep an eye on BC down the stretch, too. I think they're dangerous for one of those 16 spots.
Outside of the realm of postseason play, live the LSU Tigers. I finally got my chance to see them this past weekend. Kendall, that's just not a good baseball team. Why are they so broken? What is the disconnect between – they were the number 2 team in the country preseason. Why has this gone this wrong?
Well, my first question is, I just want to know who Ole Miss fans are rooting for in that series last weekend. Who we got?
The ones that I talked to said, believe it or not, State, because they are just on a full.
It was definitely Mississippi.
They're just on a full, we will not cheer for LSU under any circumstances, embargo right now.
There we go. That's what I figured. I'm just kind of curious. I think for LSU, it's just one of those things where just nothing can go right. When their offense is good, their pitching stinks. Casey Evans gets hurt. Cooper Moore's been hurt for half the year. And as we saw, they cannot hold a lead. Against A&M 2 weekends ago in Baton Rouge, they couldn't get a lead. Against State, they couldn't hold a lead. So it's just one of those perfect storms for them. It reminds me so much of A&M's year last year, to where it's once they finally play a little bit better, somebody gets hurt, or they finally get a lead, somebody comes in and just throws gas up there and gets knocked all over the yard. So I know State and Ole Miss fans are very happy or very sad to see this, but they just can't do anything right this year, and it's very odd to see from an LSU team, frankly.
Kendall, who's the team right now that's the favorite to win the national title? Is it UCLA? Is it Georgia Tech? Or is it somebody else?
Man, I tell you what, I still tend to lean UCLA. Here's the thing about them. Is last weekend against Sacramento State, I didn't like how they played. They lost one of the games. They were a meltdown away on Friday night from losing a series to Sac State, which LSU lost a series to them, but LSU's not very good. I said this on our podcast on Sunday. I was very curious to see how UCLA would come out on Tuesday against UC Santa Barbara on the road. Was that the wake-up call? Well, what did they do? They won 15-3 against a really good Gauchos team on the road. So that told me a lot about UCLA's kind of mindset after that kind of iffy weekend. So I still lean the Bruins. I think they have the really nice pieces in the back end with guys like Kyle Randall. I like the rotation. I love their offensive lineup. Until proven otherwise, I'm sticking with them for now, unless they just play really bad down the stretch.
And then the other side of that is, what team is the pretender? Who's the highly ranked team right now that you look at and go, they can't win a national title?
Ooh, I'm going to go Oregon State. They're number 6 in the country. Dax Whitney, their Friday starter, and one of the best pitchers, maybe the best pitcher in college baseball. Is on the shelf right now. I'm not getting great vibes on him coming back. If he's out and they aren't a very offensive team, I don't see any way they win a national championship with the way their offense is. They definitely have good pitching with Whitney and Ethan Kleitschman and Eric Segura, but man, the offense there, when you compare the offenses to all those teams around them, man, it's like night and day.
Kendall Rogers, D1 Baseball, always a pleasure to talk to you. We're just getting heated up with college baseball. We got a long way to go here in the state of Mississippi. Thanks Kendall.
I will tell you guys, I finally could relate last night watching Will Furnace slide in the second. I know the turf caused that, but it kind of reminded me myself on a smooth surface.
Be careful out there, Kendall. Don't get in trouble.
I know, man. There's landmines in the middle of a baseball field.
Thanks, man. We appreciate
you. Got it, fellas. Y'all be good. See you.
Kendall, as always, joins us on the Farm Bureau guest line. Check out favorites.com and go with the home team. Buddy, if that had been me, when I tell you that you would be like, hey, when Hadad come back to the show? Right after they amputate his leg.
Yeah, never.
He's getting a titanium leg. He's
2027.
Yeah. Yeah, I would be out like somebody who tore their Achilles in the last game of the playoffs, and they don't get to come back for a full year. That would be me. You've seen I know you've seen the video of Tom Segura when he tried to go to the. That would be me in that situation. I'd break every bone in my body. All right. You want to change? You want to talk some football?
Yeah, I got a college football story for you. An update when we come back.
We'll do that when we come back. Sports Talk Mississippi.
To Sports Talk Mississippi.
Are you ready?
On the SuperTalk app, supertalk.fm, and always on your local SuperTalk Mississippi station.
Genteel Apparel is the official apparel provider of Sports Talk Mississippi. If you look at Michael Borkey, Any day of the week, he is decked out in genteel apparel.
Pretty much.
I didn't go with it today because you see what I'm going for here. But that's fine. They've got plenty of great Mississippi State shirts, Ole Miss shirts, Southern Miss shirts available in their collegiate collection. Check that out online at genteelapparel.com. Summer's coming up. You want to get some great new shorts, the best shorts in the game, Genteel Apparel. And, of course, the swim trunks with the patented escape hatch technology. Check it out, genteelapparel.com.
All right, you guys know the story by now of now Texas Tech quarterback Brennan Sorsby transferred from Cincinnati.
Going to go. Goodness gracious!
And we have two updates on this story. First one from Pete Nakos. Dating back to 2022, Brennan Sorsby placed more than 10,000 wagers and at one point averaged 20 bets per day. Bets across multiple states using a range of gambling apps. So that it shows he has a real problem, and hopefully he attacks the treatment well and overcomes that, because that's not.
That's very bad.
That's a real problem for the young man, and hope he gets well. I have a feeling this could very well end his football career.
I'm seeing that number, 10,000 plus bets. I don't see how you let him come back to football.
I mean, unless the UFL just wants to do the PR thing.
Well, I'm talking about like college football is what I mean.
Oh, yeah, he's not playing college football again.
The pros will have to wait and see. But, like, I was just thinking of, like, you know how sometimes I make the joke. It's not ever a joke, but I talk about how, like, when Ole Miss was faking injuries, I would say they come off the field, like, there is a safety issue there of, like, you can't convince me that they're in the time it takes to run one play, we check this guy out and he's good to go, right? Sort of the same thing here. If you tell me that this guy had this bad of a gambling problem, but he's ready, but he's fine on August 1st when we start camp, I don't believe you. So, like, getting help for something like that sounds like it's going to be a process.
Here's the next thing, and the more important thing. This is from Matt Hayes. Now, I don't want to doubt this reporting because it's out there. Yahoo's aggregated it, and he writes for USA Today. I just remember he wrote some factually inaccurate things around the Kiffin leaving saga that kind of makes me wonder if this is if there's liberties taken here as well, because again, just stuff that just wasn't real. But USA Today reporting that the Cincinnati Athletic Department was alerted in August that Brennan Sorsby had a gambling issue prior to last season, obviously in August, and apparently could face NCAA scrutiny. The senior associate AD at Cincinnati, Zach Stipe, I believe is how you say his name, released a statement to him saying, quote, Cincinnati Athletics has no comment at this time, end quote. If that didn't happen, the comment would have been a denial, generally speaking, right? I mean, if that didn't happen, if you did not know that your quarterback was gambling, your statement would not be no comment. If this is true, if this reporting is accurate, Cincinnati football should get significant penalties. And I mean significant penalties. There is a gray area, like a moral gray area, when it comes to like players getting paid back in the cheating days, right? Even with tampering, like legally you can't really enforce tampering, right? If a tampering investigation ever got to the Supreme Court would look at it and say, wait, why is this? Hold on. That's not illegal. You can't do that. The players didn't agree to these rules. Therefore, no, you don't get to enforce them. When it comes to gambling, you have legal precedent that suggests it can't happen, right? I mean, there's federal cases going on. Players are possibly going to go to jail because of it. I think they are. Mm-hmm. If this is true, I would, for the first time maybe ever, be in full support of the NCAA in doing something about this. Cincinnati has a quarterback that is gambling, including on his own team. You know about it, and you play him anyway?
Yeah. Do you think that they did this, that they're the ones, they're like the rat here? Do you think that, like, they knew this, and they didn't have a problem with it, but then when he goes to Texas Tech, oh, you're going to leave us? Watch this. And they get that information out, and, like, maybe the kid wasn't planning to go to rehab, but now Texas Tech's like, we don't have any choice in this matter anymore because this is going to be made public knowledge. Do you think Cincinnati may have gotten this info out as, like, being a little bit of vindictiveness?
Would that surprise me at all?
At this point, no. Yeah.
But then again, if that is what happened and they get found out and they played a guy with a known gambling addiction, they should get...
That's a good question here. What's up with gambling in the Cincinnati area? Pete Rose, the Alabama baseball coach, and this kid. Cincinnati, never mind Las Vegas. Cincinnati, the gambling capital of America.
I mean, this is a little extreme. But I'm closer to you than Cincinnati should get or shouldn't get punished at all. This guy says if what Hadad said is the case, you should strip the school of all athletics. Again, I am closer to you than I am. They shouldn't get punished at all.
If they knew he was gambling, and the only reason this information has gotten out is because he's no longer there, I mean, you got to punish him.
And again, this is not just like a kid with a gambling app
right.
I mean,
10,000 bets is a lot.
Including on his own team when he was at Indiana.
Think about if that was just 1 year, right? There's 365 days in a year. So what are we
So it's over a
about?
3-year period.
So, yeah, that's
a
lot.
Here, I'll do the math right now. Not a math guy, so I'll have to use the calculator.
Marty, real quick, what's 10,000 divided by 365?
I mean, hey, that's 10 bets a day for 3 years.
Yeah, if it's just for a year, it's 28 bets a day. So if you spread it out over 3 years, yeah, you're like 9 bets a day.
That they know about.
That they
know about.
Right.
And if a guy's got multiple different gambling apps and he's doing 10,000 bets, you think that like that's where he stops? Probably not.
No.
I mean, that would surprise me.
He's probably also going to the casino. He's probably also, betting. Like we talked about yesterday with just a guy. He's got a bookie that he's doing some side action with. Might have multiple accounts.
Yeah.
Under we talk about burner accounts with Twitter all the time. There, I'm sure FanDuel and DraftKings have got burner accounts or guys who have second and third accounts where they hedge their bets maybe. Things like that. I don't know.
He's not the last one, by the way.
Oh no. By the way, this is. What would have happened if Trinidad had gone to LSU? Would Ole Miss have found something to submarine him with? Like, oh, he never had tonsillitis.
I mean, if they were going to do it, they'd have done it by now.
Yeah.
But that is this
Cincinnati
is just
Cincinnati was suing Sorsby for $1 million from his contract. They had reason to snitch. The plot thickens.
But now, look, and now if you're a judge on this case, isn't that part of it now? No. It's like you were trying to get buyout money from him. Was it you that did this? And also, I'm going to need discovery's a thing. If you're defending Sorsby in this, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a legal expert. I talked to a lot of them during the Chambliss deal. But if Cincinnati did that, that is gross. They took advantage of somebody with an issue, played him through a clear issue, reportedly played him through a clear issue, and only when he left them did they take him down. That's using somebody and taking advantage.
It's pretty rough.
Yeah, that's gross. If the reported is true, which is a big caveat here.
Quick question, can a football player gamble in other sports? Not in college. Like, they are pretty strict about don't gamble.
It's one of those things.
Because you have inside info.
You have inside info.
Football players, they're going to know the basketball players. They're going to talk to each other. You're going to have inside info.
And are we that gambling obsessed where we can't just look at this and say, hey, you're an athlete at a high level. One of the things you're not allowed to do is gamble. Sorry.
Right.
Do you want to be an athlete? Then you cannot gamble. Simple. Do you want to be a pilot? You cannot drink beer in the airport lobby before you get on the plane. Sorry. The passengers can, you cannot.
Yeah.
The fans can bet, you cannot. That's part of the gig that you chose. I don't like the people that, well, let the athletes gamble. That's not fair. I'm sorry. They have a position of quote unquote privilege. I know politics have ruined that that word, that expression, but you are privileged as a college football player, and part of the responsibilities of your privilege is you can't gamble on stuff. I think that's a very defensible stance.
Agreed.
Sports Talk Mississippi. We'll be back.
In the Venable Super Talk Mississippi. Introducing to you Sports Talk Mississippi.
Welcome back, Sports Talk Mississippi. Michael Borkey, Brian Hadad with you. When guests appear on the show, they do so on the Farm Bureau guest line. Check out favorites.com and go with the home team. They got this message, and it's a fair question. Why would it be detrimental to the sport of college football if a player is placing wagers on the NBA playoffs? It's a fair question. It could be nothing. They could have no connection. Or they could be represented by Jimmy Sexton's agency, who also represents an NBA player. Or they could have a guy that went to Cincinnati that plays in the NBA that can give them some inside information. I don't know. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe that's a dumb response, but I will tell you again, why do they have to bet on the NBA playoffs? Why is that a thing that we need to advocate for? You don't get to do – sometimes you don't get to do whatever you want. You know, I don't bat 1,000 on this, but I act differently in public because of the job that I have. If I didn't have a public speaking job every day, I got to think twice before I honk at people on the road even. And again, I don't bat 1,000. I am a human being after all. But with our jobs comes a certain responsibility. But there are things that we can and cannot do. Could you imagine if it was me on the video from the Ole Miss LSU series getting in a fight with an LSU fan? I wouldn't have my job anymore. I wouldn't be afforded the platform anymore if I can't control myself at a game. You know, maybe that's not a good comparison, but I'm sorry. If you're a quarterback at a major college football team, you can't bet. You just can't.
They just sometimes in life, there's just things you can't do, and this has got to be one of them. We all have. Everybody's job has a thing they can't do. All right, you can't get drunk on the job. You can't do drugs on the job. Not that you can do drugs hardly anywhere, except for some drugs like marijuana. But by and large, everybody's job has rules, and especially now that these are jobs, these guys are getting paid. It's completely acceptable to have conditions of employment. And if one of them is you can't bet, then you can't do it. And if you don't want to, if you want to bet, if your desire to bet is that great, you can always stop playing football. No one's forcing you to do it. So.
And he follows it up, and this we agree on. He says we don't have to advocate for it, but considering it's blasted in our face by ads on every media platform, at the end of the day, what do they expect? I understand that people have to have self-control, but come on, I agree with you.
That's 100% accurate. Like, there is a large dose of hypocrisy from the NCAA that has advertising with these gambling platforms on every game you watch, but won't allow the play. You're correct. You are absolutely correct. But what are we talking about here? It's the NCAA. Yeah. The only people who have more hypocrisy than them live in Washington. So it's just nature of the beast.
And then when ESPN on the bottom line ticker does the breaking, Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby leaves team because of gambling addiction, on that bottom line, it's here's our promo code for DraftKings. So, I agree with you. Personal responsibility is a thing, but you also don't put a bottle of vodka on the nightstand of an alcoholic. There's a reason that in beer commercials, they're not allowed to drink the beer on the commercial. Now, you might call that silly, but I think that stuff like that maybe needs to come to the gambling markets as well. Why can't you drink a beer in a beer commercial? I don't know if you guys knew that, by the way. So some people may have learned something.
Yeah,
in a beer ad, you will never see them drinking the beer.
And they're
pouring it.
Like, I don't know that I have ever held a beer in my hand longer than 5 seconds before I took a drink of it. Like, hand me the beer, I'm taking a sip. We're certainly not looking at it.
There's even a Shane Gillis Bud Light ad. He's next to Post Malone, right?
Yeah.
Where they're like, we can't drink this for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then the commercial ends.
Yeah.
They make reference to that we can't have this until the commercial ends. There needs to be some kind of regulation on the promo codes, $300 free in bonus bets, all this stuff. Maybe it's gone too far. Maybe so.
Says if you think athletes should not be able to gamble on sports, you should absolutely be against government officials getting trade stocks. Guess what? I am
100% against
that. Moral cross in the morning. I'm 100%. We are on the same page with that one.
The fact that we allow people with inside information that have elected positions to trade stocks is mind-blowing, more so than the argument against preventing it. Yeah. Your stock portfolios, when you take public office, should be frozen, and everybody close to you should have a stock portfolio audit every year to make sure that they didn't make moves based on their connection to you. 100%. More on Cross in the morning. We always make reference to Cross just because we're close to him. Gerard also talks about stuff like this.
Yeah, that's true.
We've never had the pleasure of working with Gerard.
It doesn't roll off the tongue the same way. More on middays with Gerard. It doesn't roll off. More on mornings with Cross just sounds better.
601-879-4395. Pete Golding said something really interesting in his press conference about managing expectations. I'll play it for you. Got a couple of thoughts about what he said when we come back, right? So after the news, SuperTalk News, right? We'll do your college football fix. Back in just a bit, right?
Your Talk Mississippi continues.
Welcome back, Sports Talk Mississippi. So glad you guys are with us on this Wednesday. We started the show, spent a long time talking about the Governor's Cup, the game, and the results of the game and what it means. And then about the future of the game in the venue. Talked to Kendall Rogers. Talked about the latest in the Brendan Sorsby gambling situation. Now we're about to get to the college football fix. If you missed any of the show, you don't have to miss any of the show. Wherever you get your podcast, just search Sports Talk Mississippi and subscribe there, and you can listen to us every single day, commercial-free. Takes about 15, 20 minutes after the show to upload into your podcast feed, but it's there every day. Don't miss it. Just like we're not going to miss the college football fix.
The college football fix is driven by your Mississippi Ford dealers. Built Ford Tough. That's the best-selling truck in America, the Ford F-150. If you're looking for a new truck, there is only one place to look, only one place to go. That's your Mississippi Ford dealers today. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
All right. So, not going to play the entire thing for you because it was 25 minutes long. Pete Golding's answers are just a lot longer than his predecessor. Does it mean he's going to win more games? No, but you get more thorough responses in the press conference setting from Pete Golding. And in particular, what?
I'm just like, is he going to win more games because he talks more? No.
No, but it is a more interesting listen in the press conference setting. This question and answer stood out to me the most, so I want to play it for you guys now. He was asked about managing expectations, probably going to have a preseason top 10 team, that kind of stuff. How does he manage this team's expectations through spring and all of that stuff? And here is what he had to say.
You know, I think every year that you do well, you know, I think, number one, you're fighting complacency, right, because they read how good they are and they think they've arrived, which they haven't, right? And then, number two is, once you get a program and they start winning on a consistent basis, like you're the game that's circled, right? So instead of, not getting everybody's best all the time because they overlook you or what have you, they're working on somebody else on your week or before, like the target's going to be on your back. And so I think, that's happened not just this year. I think we've had good years building up to this year to where I don't think people were really excited to play Ole Miss. I think there was an off-season study and some time in the summer and all those. But, my biggest thing to them is stop focusing on the wrong and we start worrying about the LSU game and everybody's talking about and all that. You better worry about Louisville, right? And you better worry about what you're doing right now, right? And the development of every day and what you're putting into it. So I think it's all what you put focus on, right, and what you put attention on. But we're not circling a game for us because we do feel like we're talented enough that if we do it the right way and prepare the right way and practice the right way, that if we don't beat ourselves, we'll have a shot. But like I said before, I think more games are lost than they are won. And that's the biggest thing where we're getting to right now is you don't know what play in a game is going to affect the outcome of the game. You can't pick and choose when you want to lock in and focus and do your job. That's got to be who we are. And there's going to be some games that you might line up and they might be more talented than you. And we're going to have to make more plays than they make, and the ball might have to bounce our way. That's football, right? But let's not beat ourselves by playing bad football. Or let's not beat ourselves by not being prepared or not taking care of our body or not practicing the right way. And I think that mentality, once you get to that, and you don't care who you're playing, where you're playing, when you're playing, I think that's your best chance. And so I think we got a lot of guys that do believe that, right? And you see that day in and day out. I don't think we have enough guys, and that's what we're talking about, playing winning football and get enough guys in that category of playing winning football in this league on a consistent basis. I think you've got to get to that in order to compete for a championship on a consistent basis. So I think it was a good start, but we're definitely not where we need.
All right, so a couple of things.
He said a swear.
They bleeped it out, though. Couple of things that stood out to me.
I said that exact same word on tomorrow's Thunder and Lightning podcast.
How dare you?
No one bleeped it out, though.
I said that on the podcast last night, actually.
It was. I was talking about Lebby last year when he was talking about the Missouri game, and he was like, they were giving us the QB run when Chapin was in there, and I was like, no, you know what? I was like, you're kidding, right? So
you think?
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
No, two things that stood out. The first part of that, when he said they better not think they've arrived because they haven't, is a really interesting thing. Because you have seen Ole Miss coaches in the past. I'm not really talking about Lane Kiffin. Remember, Houston Nutt did you haven't done this in 50 years. 50! So you should be happy.
Yeah.
And Kiffin did some of that as well. Well, I mean, you don't win here, and look at how much we're winning, and how awesome is the winning. And after the Gator Bowl in 24, when he had the number 2 defense in all of college football, and his offense couldn't score on Kentucky and Florida and LSU, it was won 10 games again. Why aren't you guys happy? Look, the team won 10 games. It's April, so it's easy to buy into stuff like this until the games actually happen. Obviously, I say that about all press conferences and off-season storylines. But it is refreshing to hear a coach at Ole Miss look at a 13-win season and say, y'all haven't won anything. Nice, 13 wins, great. Did you win a championship? No, not good enough. And having that mentality as the leader of the program to send the message to the team and the fans that, yeah, great, cool. 13 wins. Awesome. Great season. You didn't win anything. I love that because multiple coaches in the past, and you've had ADs with the same mindset, and frankly, fans, never lost a party mindset that accept not the best. Pete Golding clearly does not think that way, and that's a good thing. If you have a coach that doesn't believe that you can win a championship where he is, you got the wrong coach.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And so I like that part. And then the second part, the stop focusing on the wrong stuff. Mm-hmm. Part of me wonders if there is a little bit of, obviously coaches say this to the team too, but talking to his team and frankly to the fan base through the media with that.
I was thinking that was more, I think he's talking more to Ole Miss fans. We understand the LSU game is important. We know what it is. We know what's going on. Ole Miss has to start the season on a neutral field against a really good Louisville team. And I'll just go ahead and tell you, if Ole Miss's team is focused on LSU, they will lose to Louisville. Louisville is more than capable of winning that game.
Be a preseason ranked team.
The good news for Ole Miss fans is I don't believe your team will be focused on anything but Louisville. I believe they will be locked in and ready to play. But he's right. He's like, there's a whole season to play. Yes, you want to beat LSU, but the problem is twofold. One, you can't let beating LSU become the entire focus of the season. You want to get back to the college football playoff. The other side of that coin is you can't lose. If you lose that game, you can't let that be the end of the season. It's one loss. You're still very much in the debate to win everything you want to win that year.
Yeah.
Don't let that upend your season.
Somebody says, what a stretch to brag on Golding for saying that you're easily impressed. And then another one, Joe Moorhead talked about championship expectations too. And my response, good, he should have.
Yeah.
Now what's your ring size comes back to bite you when you lose.
Right.
But that is exactly what you want your coach to hear. And to the guy that's, what a stretch, because Ole Miss coaches in the past, including the most recent one, didn't think that you could do it where they are. I mean, Lane Kiffin said it in his introductory press conference at LSU. His actions told you he didn't think he could win at the highest level at Ole Miss. And why are you guys upset? You should be happy. The program won 10 games. Why are you guys mad right now? Look at how great I am. So when you divert from that, it's noteworthy. It's also April 29th, where we got to kind of stretch for college football content. Right. Because it's April 29th. So, sometimes we do have to stretch a little bit. But you have had coaches at that place and ADs at that place in the past not think it can be done and not talk about it as if it can be done. Yeah, it didn't work out for Joe Moorhead, but that's what you want to hear. That guy walked into Starkville and believed he could win there.
Yeah.
That matters because not everybody that takes the jobs in Mississippi believes that.
I agree with that. Like, a lot of coaches come to Mississippi and just think, I can win games here, but I can't win championships here. And I don't believe Pete Golding thinks like that. And why should he? Why shouldn't he? He was within a play of playing for the national title last year at Ole Miss. He brings back a large chunk of that team. There's no reason to think they can't do it. Now, will they do it? That's another question. That's a question for another day. But on paper, and that's why I've said a couple times now, like, if Kiffin were still there, this Ole Miss team would probably be
preseason number 3.
I was thinking no worse than 5, but certainly 3 would make a lot of sense, right? You could make a case to put them at 1.
You could make that case,
but because there's the change, I understand why they're ranked where they're ranked.
Mm-hmm.
But the talent is certainly not the issue with them.
It's your college football fix driven by Ford and your local Mississippi Ford dealer. We'll be right back. Sports Talk Mississippi, Pearl River Resort Studio.
From the flatlands of Mississippi.
Sports Talk Mississippi.
Every minute worth waiting for.
Super Talk Mississippi.
I'm flying in the 747. I'm passing by the pearly gates. And I'm coming.
Welcome back. Sports Talk Mississippi. Somebody says there shouldn't be any rankings till after the 5th week of the season.
Now, what fun is that?
Then do some rankings. My follow-up question would be, what harm do the rankings actually do?
They don't do any harm. They're fun. They give us something to talk about. Right?
Because I see a lot of that, though. People are like, ranking should never have preseason polls. Why not?
These are the people who are just... And I'm serious about college football. I love college football. I take it very seriously. But not that seriously.
Yeah, they will.
Not so seriously that I'm like, the irreparable harm is being done to the sport by the fact that there is a preseason college football poll.
Yeah, I don't get it. And the polls have not influenced the playoff selection. There's no data point. There's no real tangible evidence you can point to say that the preseason poll impacted the postseason poll.
Right.
The games do happen, after all, and they mostly matter. But also, resident LSU fan Marty said September 19th will set the stage for Golding's future with the fan base. I do agree with that point. But
I'll tell you that, from my perspective, Joe Moorhead's tenure at Mississippi State was tanked by the fact that he lost to Mullen.
How many points did they give up that day, too? It was like
13. They lost 13-6.
On your home field.
Yeah.
And then he says you can't just downplay how important the game is. Pete Golding has to, because Louisville exists. If it was McNeese in Charlotte, then yeah, people would roll their eyes at you better focus on, whatever. But if that is a distracted team in Nashville, they're going to lose.
They're going to be in trouble. No question.
So he's got to downplay week 3 when week 1's legit. That game's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, Louisville's very close to Nashville. Obviously, Nashville's close to a lot of Ole Miss fans, and there's a huge alumni base in Nashville, so the stadium will be packed. That's Sunday night, too, so it's on its own. That'll be a fun one. But he's got to do this right now. He has got to downplay LSU right now. Or else they're going to get beat week 1.
That's correct. That is correct. So, but this is this is not a unique to Pete Golding kind of thing. I remember talking to Levy last year about the thing that actually ended up happening. I was like, there's this scenario where you guys are 4-0 when you host Tennessee, and he was like, we are not looking at one step beyond week 1. Coaches talk about one game at a time. I feel like that is the most popular coaching cliche right now. Is the most important game is the next one, one game at a time stuff. That they love to come back to that. I mean, DeBoer and Golish will all be like, "That's the most important game is the next one." No, it isn't. The most important game for you two teams is the Iron Bowl every year.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to get mad if you say that. If Kirby Smart says it, no, it's not. It's the Florida game. And if Golding says it, it's not really. It's the LSU game.
It is.
But that's what it is. So for some schools, it's correct. For Mississippi State, yeah, let's focus on ULM here. Let's get that one done. If you want to look ahead to Minnesota, that's fine. But we're not going past week 2 in our thoughts here in Starkville.
Draft people are starting to buy in on Minnesota's quarterback, by the way.
Minnesota's a good team. That will be a tough game for Mississippi State. No question.
Sure to make the trip.
Things are starting to calm down up there, I think, from an ice perspective, so that a person of my particular complexion might be okay. It's a Moreland Cross in the morning. I would like to go to that game just because when else would I ever go to Minnesota?
Yeah.
I'd like to enjoy a Juicy Lucy, but, it is what it is.
But, no, something you said triggered this thought, too. People like to overshare to coaches. I've noticed that. When a fan gets to meet a coach, they'll just kind of word vomit stuff.
Yeah.
Imagine.
They start, it's like, coach, and the next thing you know, they're then that's when my mama left me. It's like, what happened?
Imagine how many times Pete has been at the grocery store and somebody's been like, oh, man, I hope you go beat that son of a you-know-what, Lane Kiffin.
I would imagine. I hope Pete is a click lister. I hope Pete's not getting out of the car. Which I'll go pick it up, but I'm not going in.
I'm sure he's told the people close to him, please just don't. I get it.
I shop at Kroger almost every day, and I have literally never seen – I've seen Lamonis in there a couple times, but never seen Chris Jans, never seen Jeff Levy, never seen Brian O'Connor, never seen Zach Selman. Yeah. The click list, it exists.
I've never used that. Do they generally do a pretty good job? I'm very selective with my meat and produce is my problem.
Well, meat and produce is fine. It's usually not an issue. the problem is when you get stuff off the shelf, if they're out of something, they'll substitute, and a lot of times it doesn't make sense. It's like, we ordered American cheese, so here's Gouda. Like, I'd rather just not get it. I'll go to Walmart or something and go get it. Yeah. Just don't give me that. I don't want something that's completely off. We ordered chicken noodle soup, so here's some beef consomme. Like, I don't want that. It's not close. Yeah.
So he says, got my tickets. Ole Miss versus Louisville will be a sellout at Nissan Stadium. As a Titan season ticket holder, it'll be the biggest crowd all year.
Or Titans.
Do the Steelers go to the Titans? Because you might get one
there. They haven't
there.
announced the NFL schedules. I was looking at that.
I love schedule release.
That's coming up. It's in May, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's always in May.
We know the opponents.
Right, we just don't know the schedules yet.
But not the schedules, and I love pretending like I don't know.
Yeah. 17-0.
It is a shame that this game is happening 1 year before the new stadium opens.
Yeah.
Literally, if you just waited a year.
You waited a year, you get a first-class experience, and instead you're not. Not that Nissan Stadium is a complete dump or anything. It's still a nice stadium.
Yeah, it's just not the...
It's not what it's going to be next year.
The footprint size. So when I was up there last summer, the space that the stadiums take up, obviously, they're building a new one, but it's like double the space that it's taking up for the new stadium compared to the old, because they're right next to each other. You can directly compare the two.
Yeah.
That Super Bowl that's a lot of fun. That Nashville will have a similar effect to New Orleans and Indy to a degree, where the stadium is where all the stuff is.
Will there be a lot of bachelorette parties who didn't realize that the Super Bowl was there?
Yes,
I hope so.
100%.
I hope so. And you just thought the NFL draft was bad. Try getting a restaurant reservation. Literally, with the NFL draft, it's probably not a restaurant reservation problem. Those are blue collar fans. They're happy to just go eat wherever. The Super Bowl brings the big wigs. You're not getting into Jeff Ruby's.
You're going nowhere.
Congrats. We're having our bachelorette dinner at Chick-fil-A.
Did I tell you the news reporter that did that story was a friend of mine in high school?
You did not tell me that.
Yeah, she was doing TV work in Nashville at the time, and she was the one that, the still image of the angry bride. Yeah. That's her. That's from her.
Nice
story.
Well, that story did well. It went very viral.
It went viral. For those of you that don't know what we're talking about, there was a local news report when the draft went to Nashville, and they put the draft stage on Broadway, and Broadway was filled with NFL fans all weekend. Now, I love the NFL. I'm an NFL fan, but you guys, the kind of NFL fans are a little bit more rough around the edges than your college football fans. And imagine 300,000 of them blocking off Broadway completely. And Nashville, obviously known for its bachelorette parties. Well, this news reporter, Kathleen, my friend, caught up with some bachelorette parties that were not aware that the draft was going on, and did a news report. If you guys haven't seen it, you've got to Google it. It is so funny because one of the girls in the group was like, my boyfriend did not tell me about this.
He was sitting at home laughing.
Yeah, he was.
He was sitting there with his feet up, cracking open a beer. He's like,
why, babe? What's going on, crowd?
Oh, that's right, yeah. Were the bars packed?
I'm watching it right now. Try to get in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Go down to the stage.
Oh, gosh, that's funny.
Oh, man.
I saw Lane Kiffin in Kroger with his daughter at the self-checkout line. I asked him, hey, Lane, do you think Nick Saban goes to the grocery store? He said, no. Nick Saban does not go to the grocery store. I can believe that.
There's also a video of Nick Saban hitting a tee shot from the Regions Tradition Pro-Am today. And Saban claimed that he shot 82 at Augusta 3 months ago, and he played amen corner at even par and shot one over on the back. I'm here to tell you that swing does not shoot one over on the back at Augusta National. Nick Saban lied about his. He sandbagged because again 0% chance, and I mean 0% chance that golf swing goes one over on the second nine at Augusta National. Liar, Nick Saban. For shame.
Yeah.
We'll be back. Sports Talk Mississippi.
SuperTalk.fm. Sports Talk Mississippi. SuperTalk Mississippi.
Borkey, when is your birthday?
It's in March.
Oh, I've already missed it. It's a shame.
Yeah.
I see that McLaren Golf just put out their new line of products. I could get you a $100 baseball cap. Or a $375  9-iron. Is that a good price for 9-irons?
Isn't the set like $6,000 or something?
Is that a good price for 9-irons? I don't know. I've never bought it.
It's absurdly priced.
I've never bought a 9-iron before, so I don't know.
And there's almost a 100% chance that they just use the technology from a lesser cost brand and just stamped McLaren on it. That happens all the time.
They said the hat's actually a really good deal because technically you're driving around in a McLaren at that point.
$100 for a hat. Whoever set that price point
it's
should
like a
be
trucker hat with the rope, and it's got like the leather logo on there. It's rough.
Right to jail. Right away. Right to jail.
We've been having a lot of debate on Thunder and Lightning, the podcast, about hats this week, about rope hats. Like, rope hats are cool again.
They are cool again.
Yeah, but like I see rope hats, and I think of like old guys at the VFW playing bingo and drinking beer. Like, that's an old person's hat to me. So I don't wear rope hats. But the young kids are wearing the rope hats these days.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. It's kind of a weird thing where I'm stuck in the middle where I'm not old enough to want to wear it, and I'm not young enough to want to wear it.
You see, like, the old school pictures of football coaches from, like...
Yes, that's exactly correct. Yeah, you see, like, Johnny Vaught and, Emery Ballard wearing a rope hat. I'm like, I'm not wearing that. What year is it? But the kids are wearing them these days.
I'd rather a kid wear a rope hat than all the ridiculous stuff that they're wearing in their U10 travel baseball games.
Well, yeah, there's that too. They got the slide glove
on each hand, and they're like fluorescent pink and fluorescent green, and then the massive sunglasses and the 6 necklaces and the brand new uniforms and all that stuff. I remember baseball players, back in my day. Like,
back in my day,
you wanted to look scrappy. You know what I mean? Like, if you didn't have a dirty uniform, you walked off the field, you were embarrassed. You're like, oh my gosh, like I'm too clean. Now it's, oh my gosh, let me put my sliding gloves on. It's like I wanted the base of the palm of my hand. I wanted them to be bloody. It was like a mark of like I did something today.
I get it.
What happened to that?
We got soft.
We're getting soft. We're not gritty anymore.
Well,
it's like hockey players. All these hockey players now are getting veneers or whatever they're called, perfect teeth. It's like, no. What happened to the hockey players that were missing 4 of them? Yeah. That's what we want to see.
Well, it's tough to find women like that. I get it.
Missing 4 teeth?
Yeah, like when women look at you funny.
Like they care that the millionaire hockey player's missing some teeth.
Well, they don't know it at the time.
They don't care.
You got to think about like hockey. Like, now if you see a hockey player in the bar, do you know he's a hockey player? Like, I see an NBA guy in the bar, I'm like, that guy probably plays pro basketball. You see an NFL guy, you're like, all right, something's going on here. Hockey guys just look like random big tough guys. So you got, so the first impression is what matters there.
Yeah, it's true. I have been watching hockey playoffs. I've been into it. It's fun.
Yeah, it's great.
And I say this every year. It's super electric, and I still just can't buy into one team.
You cannot get me to watch as much as you should.
You into the NBA playoffs?
I'm keeping up with the Lakers, obviously.
Yeah. Kevin Durant disappeared from his team for a while. That helped yours.
Yeah,
you were Lakers.
Yeah, the Friday game was crazy to come. They were down 6 with like 14 seconds to go and came back to tie the game. LeBron James has been people hate him, but it's been fun to watch him go from he had finally accepted the role as the third best guy, right? Like it was Luka and Austin, and LeBron's just there, and he'll find some points and some rebounds, and he's making it work. And then they both get hurt, and he was like, "All right, let me go get my cape." And he's been, 25 and 8 and 7 in basically every game since those two got hurt. So Reeves might be back next game. So that's exciting. And going to the next round, hopefully you can get Luka back. And they're going to play the Thunder. They're going to lose, but maybe they can make a series out of it.
Yeah. It's playoff season in sports right now. Greg Sankey, at the Regions Tradition, was asked about Charles Bediako. And this, I can turn this local in a second. But this is a good quote from Sankey. Quote, I said this to Charlie Baker, the president of the NCAA. That didn't happen because of the University of Alabama or Charles Bediako. That happened because of NCAA decisions related to players in different places. One in Louisville and one in Baylor Christmas week. If those things don't happen, we don't have the magnified confusion we have now. We have former G Leaguers committing. They're not eligible under the rules as I understand the rules, but committing right now. He's right, by the way. G Leaguers popping up commitments everywhere. The NCAA needs to step up and provide the kind of clarity because last year at this time, if you asked me if that would happen, the answer is no. What do we do with minor league baseball players? What do we do with the guys who go on mini tours and give up? They went to live golf and took money and say they want to come back. They made a decision, whether it's pre-enrollment or post-enrollment, to not pursue a college opportunity and pursue a professional sports opportunity. Those decisions have an impact. The NCAA national office needs to provide clarity. End quote. Two things on that. One, Sankey getting increasingly displeased with the NCAA hopefully leads to the breakaway conversation being more legitimate. And two, he's right. Michael Lasasso went to live. Left his team midway through their season and went to live. We got confirmation of Brody Miller's accurate reporting from 2 weeks ago that the Saudis are, in fact, pulling out of live. That's going to end it. As it currently exists, they lost $5.5 billion over 5 years. They won't be able to find an investor to do the same thing. It's dead. What's stopping Michael Lasasso from going back to college?
Right. This is the Pandora's box that has been opened. And as always, I like to preface my remarks, as a person who supports the NIL efforts and the transfer portal, maybe I should have known it was going to get to this point. I hoped that it wouldn't, but that's where they are right now.
But Sankey's right. The NCAA could have stopped this the whole time and won. One of the rare things that is a very agreeable thing. If you go pro, you can't come back to college. Sorry.
So a simple rule like that. Yeah. Like you leave your school, your team, to pursue pro sports in any form or fashion. Live golf, NBA G League, minor league baseball, NFL Europe, UFL, whatever it is, you are ineligible to return. Nobody's voting against that.
No. And that also wins in court.
You would almost have as close to unanimous support as anybody could give you.
It wins in court. Bediako lost in court to the NCAA. Like, that's a thing that you can actually defend. You can't defend player compensation unless they have a say. They've lost there. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I mean, what somebody asked me earlier, like, what is Michael Lasasso's golf future? He didn't have one.
No.
Not as it currently sits, because the new commissioner of the PGA Tour had a quote in the article today where he was asked about it. What does it mean for guys? And he said, we want guys that can help make our tour better. That does not apply to most of the guys on LIV. It's like, whoa. I mean, a guy like Lasasso does not presently have a path to the PGA Tour at all. So if that's the case, he may not have a home at Ole Miss. I don't know. But sue for it and see what happens. Mm. You got money in the bank from LIV, don't you? Who took a commitment from a G Leaguer yesterday? Anyway, G Leaguers are getting back in.
I saw it, yeah.
So what's going to stop him from doing that if he's got no other options, which it appears that's the most likely outcome, is he has no other options.
And somebody asked about the Euros. So my thought process on that is they didn't leave their university to go pro. They were pros in Europe that doesn't have an NCAA system for college basketball, and then they want to come to the NCAA, I can get my head around that. I can allow it because they did not leave a current NCAA member institution to go play professional basketball.
Yeah, somebody says, how is the NCAA able to make rules when the player is going to get some local judge to rubber stamp so he can play? In this case, the NCAA won. You still have to have legal merits. Like the Trinidad case. Yeah, you can talk about local judge, whatever, if you would like. But the judge's ruling stands up in higher courts. It did. It happened. If they would take it to the Supreme Court, the judge's ruling would stand in that.
I think so, yeah.
A judge is not just going to deliver a ruling that doesn't legally stand and he knows it. And the NCAA beat Bediako, and they can win these cases if they have to fight them because there's legal merit to doing that. So, I don't know. But Sankey appears to be frustrated. Turn your frustration into action, my friend. We'll see if that happens. We'll be back.
In the You're hearing Sports Talk Mississippi.
What? This is so
awesome on Super Talk Mississippi.
It's coming up on Thunder and Lightning here in just a few minutes.
I'm not sure if I want to talk about Mississippi State sports or this video that I just watched where a guy made a peanut butter and jelly honey bun. I don't know which one I want to talk about.
Would have been funner if you'd have just said, I'm not sure. What a tease.
I don't know that funner is a word. I'll be totally honest with you. The guy he got a honey bun. He spread peanut butter and jelly on one of them and then made a sandwich with another honey bun. Just watching that video spiked my blood sugar. Never mind eating that one of those. We'll talk about the Governor's Cup in a little more detail, more about the Mississippi State perspective. Let's try to really dive into the idea of the Starkville Regional and possibly the Starkville Super Regional. What really needs to happen? We'll talk a little football as well. And plus, we'll recap the greatest event in the history of the state of Mississippi, the 2026 Starkville Derby, which you can go back and listen to on Facebook. And you can hear me on the call with Bart Heisch and Jay Perry. 3 grown men making the most sophomoric locker room jokes that they could get away with. There were a couple where I had to pull back. I was mad that we went on the air. The first race had a dog named Dolly Parton, and I was going to make a joke about that we weren't on the air for. There was another one that was named Hank, and I was going to be like, I'll tell you what. But I couldn't. We weren't on the air yet. I had all these jokes lined up, and some of them went to waste.
In basketball news in Mississippi, Mike Davis is going to be the head basketball coach at Mississippi Valley State. You might be wondering, wait, that Mike Davis? Yes.
That Mike Davis.
That Mike Davis, who was Bob Knight's successor at Indiana, and then he was at UAB. At Texas Southern from 2012 to 2018, in 6 years, made the NCAA tournament 4 times of those 6 years. Then he went to Detroit Mercy, and the bottom fell out. He was part of that Detroit Mercy team, if you guys remember, in 2024, that went 1-31. I believe they played in Oxford that year, didn't they?
That sounds right. Like, that game was close.
And it was close,
I remember us going like, what is going on here? Yeah.
But now he is off to Mississippi Valley State. Very interesting.
It's a guy who's had success as a coach. He's a real coach, if nothing else. This is not, they had to get the third assistant, from some school to come in there. This is a guy who's a real basketball coach. He has been to the NCAA tournament. So, Mississippi Valley basketball has been an issue for a long time now. So we'll see if maybe this is the thing that gets them at least back to where they can have some respectability.
Very interesting. Don't know quite what to make of it. Credit them for trying, though. I mean, it's somebody that, like you said, has had success. I mean, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? He wins?
Yeah. There's no downside to it. Because right now, Mississippi Valley basketball has no downside. They are as bad as it gets in the sport of college basketball. So there literally is nowhere to go but up. Shout out to their unofficial basketball Twitter feed, though.
So perfect.
It's so funny. It's so funny. Shout out to those guys.
Somebody says for Brian, who likes soccer, hockey, think soccer on a small, icy pitch.
Guys, I know what hockey is. I've watched hockey.
Don't.
I have enjoyed hockey. I enjoy watching hockey. I just can't, for whatever reason, pick a team and just commit to it.
It's hard to do because then you have to go buy
Nashville.
some streaming service. Hey, Dad, is what you'll have to do.
I need to go to Nashville for a game and see if I can just get into the Predators or not. But we'll see.
That is what you need to do.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I agree with you.
Although their goal song is Tim McGraw.
What is it? I like it.
I love it. I want some more.
I thought that was the Braves home run song.
Is it the Braves home run song?
I don't know. But he mentions the Braves in the song. I ain't seen the game. The Braves play a game all year.
I don't like that.
Well, I mean, what do you expect? It's Nashville. They're going to do something country. Would you rather be Tim McGraw, or would you rather it be one of these bro country guys?
Tim McGraw became a bro country guy at the end,
but not at the beginning. I'm actually in a Tim McGraw music video.
Is it Red Rag Top?
No, it's Down on the Farm.
What are you being serious right now?
Yeah, so like when they filmed that video, they filmed it like 30 minutes outside of Vicksburg, and they put a notice in the paper like, "Hey, we're doing a free Tim McGraw concert tonight because we're filming this video. So if you come, you'll be." So I'm in the crowd. I'm not. You don't see me.
That's
or anything.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
nice.
There's a giant Confederate flag waving in there. I'm like two feet behind that guy. But he played a full concert, but he played Down on the Farm about 10 times.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was like, and he told them that, he was like, "Hey guys, this is how we're going to do this. We got to get different shots and different things. But I'm also going to play all my other songs too. Don't you worry."
That's cool.
And it was cool. We got out there, drank some beer in a big field in the middle of Louisiana, and It was great.
Thunder and Lightning will be great, and you'll hear that after the news. Sports Talk Mississippi wrapping up on this Wednesday, but stick around for more Hadad.
SuperTalk Mississippi Media Production.